So, hi everyone. I decided today that I was just going to try and talk to you all far more personally. Literally every single one of you here I've gotten to know either through this year or last. And I just thought, since I did have the luxury of going unopposed, that I just should take this time to talk to you more on a personal level. Now, this year, we will admit, has had a lot of troubles. We have tried our very best to repair them as best we can, but we all know it hasn't been perfect. I have done my best to try and work behind the scenes and with you all just to try and make things go as smoothly as possible. It hasn't been an easy process, and many people I know are dissatisfied with the way it went. All I can hope is that we just repaired it as best as we can. Why you should vote for me again? Well, that is all up to you. I have already done a year in this role. I have already given what I can to the society, and I can only promise I will continue doing the best I can. If you do not feel I am appropriate for the role, please feel free to reopen nomination against me. Find someone who you think will be better for the role. All I want is what is for best for this society. I've given my heart, my soul, and my blood to all of you, and I will continue doing it. But if you feel there's someone better for the role, go ahead for it. There really isn't much else to say besides it. I know it is short, but all I request is you ask me every single little bit of detail you can. I will answer to my fullest, and it's entirely up to you whether you keep me around. I will be.
Okay. Are there any points so far this academic year where you haven't been happy with yourself as a treasurer?
At the start of the year, especially, I have been slow in handing in certain forms. Was it before you actually whistled? I've been slower than I should have been handing in certain forms. I've made a very distinct effort to try and improve myself in this respect, and I will just try to make sure that I never fall behind ever again.
Mimi?
I know treasurer isn't a role that we get to see as members of the society, and there's a lot of things that you're kind of forced to do behind the scenes and you run. Is there any moments where you feel like you're really proud of something in your time as treasurer that you feel that not everybody knows of?
I think the most prominent one was back when we first found out the rooms had been taken away from us. It was during the night of the Halo tournament, during the morning, as I went down to the AV department to make sure we had the 4 TVs which we still had booked. It was there I got told by the AV department themselves that we had lost the access to the rooms. I spent the entire day going around trying to talk to as many people as I can. We talked to the SU, I talked to some of the security guards, I talked to everyone I could have to try and find what the situation was and if there was any possibility of fixing it. Unfortunately there wasn't, but as I'm sure most of you know, most of you actually don't know about that, but I really do work a lot behind the scenes just to keep things running.
Well, being treasurer, I'm pretty sure most society members aren't really aware of the things you do in general. So expanding on Mimi's question, what are the things you do throughout the year that people should appreciate, but they simply don't know about or just don't?
Well, most of it is what it says on the tin of the role. Our objective as treasurers, as I'm sure Gaz will also back me up on, is just to make sure that we have enough money to do what we want. We keep an eye on the money we have, making sure that we regulate funds appropriately, and just to make sure we don't go bankrupt, basically.
Any questions? Yeah. Alex, why didn't you run for president?
Why didn't I run for president? Ultimately because, although as you can tell here, I'm not much of a speech person, I do not feel that as the figurehead itself, would not excel at. I work best being more behind the lines, and plus I'm great at maths. Treasurer fits more appropriately. You don't need to do numbers to be president, you do to be a treasurer. Quiet, Gaz.
Well, speak of Gaz, do you have a question?
Yeah,
Yes,
treasurer for 2 years.
What's been your worst call?
My worst call.
On transaction, like the one thing you've done that you wish you hadn't spent, something like that.
This was actually me spending my own personal money on. It was back when. Yes, it was. It was back at the start of the year, even beforehand. I decided, after running by the council, that selling shirts would be a fantastic idea, and I still think it is. But at the start of the year, before my training had begun, I had spent a significant amount of my own money into it. Then later to find out that because of the time period, I was incapable of getting it reimbursed. Had I known that beforehand, I would have made sure it was all being able to be funded by the SU. But at the moment, that would be my worst call, just the fact that I put my own money into it. And I would do it again on a far smaller scale, but I put one massive personal investment into it, and it's still taking time for it to all be returned back to me.
What are your thoughts or plans or ideas about joint events, say LGS and LARP, LGS and GAN, debating and whatever?
I would say that that's not personally in the treasurer, but me as a personal,
as a committee
member, I have absolutely no problem with them. I am all for joint society sessions. I mean, your example was LARP, and I have absolutely trouble with just having a joint session of LARP and LGS where applicable.
It'll come back.
Anyone else?
Matt, yeah?
What do you consider to be your biggest weakness?
There we go again.
I prepared for this question in my mind to ask everyone it, and I've forgotten my answer already. I think that's probably going to be it. I do not have the best memory around, and also perhaps with the Facebook group itself, I do not keep up to date as I should do, but I try my best.
Do you want to do strength while I ask?
Well, yeah, I was actually about to ask. Just as a committee member, not as a treasurer, but as a committee member, what do you consider to be your biggest strength?
And my biggest strength, as I said, most of my most significant work was working behind the scenes. I do a lot of work within the society, more often than not, without people's even knowledge, let alone appraisal. And I'm more than willing to do that. I will always be willing to do that for the society.
Any other questions?
I was raising my bloody hand.
Premature copulation is a problem, people.
Right, there's
Sure.
been a lot of talk about you guys doing like from like the president advice and doing a weekly meeting, council meeting. What would your thoughts be on that? Because I know like sometimes you guys have said like, oh, Jams has weekly meetings there because it needs to, but LGS doesn't. So what?
I'm more than willing to do weekly meetings. To give you an example, last year I was on engineering for a course. This year I changed my course to now gaming, and the workload is significantly less than what I had prepared for, so I always have enough time to try and go to meetings.
Right. Now you can clap.